at the Baseball Winter Meetings with John Manuel from Baseball America, and Baseball America has been here covering a whole lot of things, the trades of the #1 pick of the draft last year, but we wanted to grab John to specifically talk about some Oriole topics, obviously. And John, your organizational rankings of the farm systems is not out. It'll be out early next year or in January. The Orioles, we know, were not high up last year. Is it going to be similar this year?
I'd say they're toward that bottom 5. I will say that industry-wide, there's some rough farm systems out there. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, they're number 30 for me with an anvil. I have coworkers who think that that's the Miami Marlins are number 30 with an anvil. I mean, it's a race to the bottom with those two farm systems. For me, the Diamondbacks are going to be toward the bottom now. I like their system, but they didn't empty it out, but they traded their #1 and #2 prospects in Dansby Swanson and Aaron Blair yesterday. And while they still have some pieces, they're not great pieces. And they've traded their last 2 first-round picks. They're both with the Braves now, Touki Toussaint and Dansby Swanson. So the Diamondbacks are going to be down there. The Padres, I know they just picked up prospects in the Kimbrel deal, but they're going to be down there because they traded their whole farm system basically last offseason. So the Orioles are in that grouping for me. They're better than the Marlins and the Angels. At the very worst, they're going to be 28. But there are some truly bad farm systems out there, and this is going to be a historically bad top 100 prospect list in the spring, especially when you compare it to what we had in 2015 and the impact talent we saw in the big leagues, all the rookies we saw in 2015. Don't look for that. Like 2015 was like the perfect Baseball America year in the big leagues. Not going to be like that in 2016.
If you're an Oriole fan, is that cause for a red flag for you? Is that cause for an alarm? We know reasons teams drop in these rankings, and it was just 2 years ago. Organizations like Baseball America had the Orioles like 10, 12. Yeah. They've traded some key guys we know. Bundy, Harvey hurt. Guys graduate to the majors like Gosman and Scope. They're not prospects anymore in these rankings. So anyway, long-winded question. Should the fans be concerned about this?
I think I'd be more concerned if they weren't contending at the major league level. To me, I'd rather contend at the major league level than be rated highly on the farm. If you can do both, that's very difficult to pull off. It usually involves spending a ton of money, like the Red Sox do. But I would rather contend at the major league level than be highly ranked at the minor league level. If Baltimore's big league team slips this year for a second consecutive year and their farm system is non-competitive, not ranked highly, then I would start being concerned. So to me, it's a trend kind of thing. And the way the game is set up right now, it's very difficult to both contend and have a highly ranked farm system because not contending goes with the big international bonus pool, the big signing draft pool. There are only a few teams that are able to pull that off consecutively right now. Houston's one of them. They've started to pull it off. Let's see them do it again at the major league level. I think they will, but you do want to see that consistency. So it's hard to do both. That's when I would start to get concerned if the major league product falters along with the minor league product.
Let's talk about the top 100 list, which will come out down the road. The Orioles at one time, when they were ranked number 10, they had 4 or 5 of those guys on that list. How many might they have this year?
I would say it's 0 to 3. I haven't done a top 100 yet. I'm still finishing my Blue Jays top 30. Then I will start my big picture list. I'll edit all the other top 30s. I'm not the only one who gives them an edit. I'll put my own personal top 150 together. That's a laborious process for me. It usually takes an entire weekend to go through things. So I could see Bundy and Harvey toward the back of that list, and I could see Francisco and maybe Jamar Reyes toward the back of a list like that. For me, if I'm going through the whole thing, Francisco is my highest-rated Oriole. There's a ton of risk there, but I just see 20 years old, reach AA, bat potential. For me, that's where I would go. I understand that's not the industry consensus. We try to reflect the industry consensus. I think the industry consensus is the Orioles do not have a top 75 prospect, and that's in a down year. So that's not a great sign, but I can tell you again, the Padres maybe have 1 or 2 from the Red Sox trade. The Angels don't have anyone sniffing it. They aren't going to have a top 150 guy for me. That's a rough sign. So to me, and the Marlins will have 1 or 2. That's why, again, the Angels are the worst system for me. They don't have anybody sniffing my top 100.
Well, John, we're so appreciative of your time. I'll let the fans know that Monday on the Baseball America website, the Orioles top 10 list will be released. I had a little something to do with helping to write that up with these guys, so it's a real honor to be involved with that. John, thanks for the time today.
Thank you, Steve.
John Manuel with us in Nashville on MASNsports.com.